Is Duolingo still worth it in 2021? Well, let's find out. Before we get started, make sure to check out all my links. I'll leave my links in the description. And yeah, check out my podcast and other things I got going on. So we on Duolingo, the home page. Everybody knows Duolingo. It's the #1 language learning app, and by #1 I mean most popular, not the best one overall. But anyway, I'm just going to show y'all the features on each of the web pages and all they have to offer. So the main page includes your tree, and I'll get to my tree in a second. Your league, I guess the more exercises you do, like a higher league. So right now I'm in a silver league. Your Duolingo score, basically they guess your proficiency on your, I guess based on the lessons you took. So right now for me it says I can follow along with short lines of arguments and main plot points as long as the words are common and familiar. I can also talk fluently about factual topics I know a lot about, such as art, music, and movies. So I think that's a pretty accurate score. I would say my score is a little bit higher than this, probably around 100. I mean, I don't know how they score it, but I would say my proficiency is a little bit higher than what they suggest right here. The XP progress, you get XP from doing the lessons on the website. So every time you do a lesson, you get XP. Achievements, okay, I guess you get certain achievements for lessons, for things on lessons. So I'm gonna show y'all my tree right here. And I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I didn't do all these lessons. So basically, I tested out my whole tree. I tested out my whole tree as soon as I got on. So I had already been learning Spanish for almost a year and a half when I got on here. So as you can see, I did some of the lessons, the more advanced lessons. And yeah, I like that you can pick specific things to learn about. Romance, y'all know I gotta learn how to flirt in Spanish. That's a very helpful tip. But yeah, basically I just clicked on and did some of the lessons for specific things I was interested in, and I like that you're able to do that. So let's go to the story tab. Stories, I didn't use the story tab because it was kind of beginner content. I'm going to show y'all how it's structured. Here's one story. I just clicked on a random one.
Una cosa.
But if you like learning like this would be very helpful for you. But for me personally, I don't like to stop and answer questions while I'm doing the lesson. But if that's your learning style, it'll be very helpful for you. The discussion tab is mostly a big waste of time. I'm just being honest with y'all. It's mostly people complaining or talking about things that have nothing to do with languages. But sometimes it's some interesting things on here. Look, somebody put fail in French. It's not my fault. Of course it's not. It's never anyone's fault when you fail a class, right? Laugh at my pain. Yeah, it's basically people who talk about things that have nothing to do with anything. But there's some interesting conversations on here. So if you want to feel part of a community, you can go through here and talk and things. Maybe I'm just salty because I got my posts flagged down a couple times. I put a couple posts up and they just took it down. Yeah, I'll get to that in the end of the video. The shop, you can buy certain things with your lingots, and you get lingots from completing a certain amount of lessons. So I haven't really bought anything. Oh yeah, I bought the idioms and proverbs, and that was kind of helpful. I learned some new phrases with that. Let's go to events. So the events tab is kind of like a meetup group, if y'all know what that website is. And basically you can be put in a Spanish or whatever language conversation group, or somebody can actually teach you a language. There's many different types of events. So yeah, language exchange, Esperanto, you got everything on here. So I actually applied to be a host leader. So basically what I had to do was send in a video of me speaking English and Spanish. So if I get approved, I'll put it on my YouTube channel. I'll host events for us to communicate if you're a Spanish speaker or just want to talk with me in general, it's not going to be very serious if I get approved. But anyway, you have these Spanish events. I wasn't able to do anything because as you can see, most of the things are no spots left. So especially for intermediate and upper class levels. Let's see if they got Latin. So you even have Latin on here, a dead language. So they have everything. Well, not every language, but a lot of languages. Podcasts. I didn't really use the podcast because I kept getting annoyed. So they have podcasts for Spanish, French, and English. So one of the posts I put up that got taken down was like, I didn't say I was annoyed with the podcast, but I gave a suggestion. After every sentence, it's like a whole bunch of English in the podcast. So look at this. Paragraphs and paragraphs of English. So my basic suggestion was put the whole podcast in Spanish or French or whatever language, and then put an English summary at the end. And I guess they didn't like that because they flagged my post down and yeah, they flagged my post down and gave me a whole bunch of dislikes. But yeah, I didn't like that about the podcast. I think it would be more helpful if the whole thing was in your target language. Oh, dictionary. I mean, it's a dictionary. It's not much on here. And words. I guess these are just words that you went over in your lessons. So that's the end of the website. So I'm gonna talk about my final opinions now. So let's start off with my dislikes. Duolingo sometimes marks you wrong if you don't have a specific sentence structure. Although the question or whatever you did, the answer isn't wrong, it'll mark you wrong. So I'll include a couple examples here. Another dislike I have, it's just a supplementary resource. It's just not enough. You can't learn a language with Duolingo as your main resource. Like, it's helpful on the side, but as a main resource, you can't do it. Benefits. Duolingo is free, so you don't need to pay for anything, as many people know. It's a lot of content on there. It's a lot of free content on there. If you have no money, if you don't want to invest in the language yet, use Duolingo first, because you're not really investing anything but your time. Second thing I like, it's a lot of community effort. They added, as I showed on there, the events tab, and I think that's very helpful for a beginner or anybody who want to communicate in their target language. So that's cool that they added that on. But I don't really see anyone getting conversational with just Duolingo itself. I seen a post on there talking about how the people who joined the conversation group weren't at a high enough level, and that caused the group to shut down. So I would say the group should limit their restrictions of the group, limit the restrictions of joining, because it's Duolingo. You're hosting your platform on Duolingo. Most people are not on a conversational or fluent level. They're mostly going to be beginners on there. So my final opinions are, Duolingo is cool. I like it. I use it. I used it a little bit. I like that you can pick specific things you need to review or brush up on. But as a main resource, it's just not enough. It's not enough content on there, and you don't have any native things going on except for the podcast. But like I showed you, I didn't like that for a specific reason. So Duolingo is not a main resource, but as a supplement, I like it.